Hey guys, Winner here. Welcome to another feature match. We're in round 3 from this week's locals. We have Cyber Dragons versus Sky Striker. And I also took a poll on this match as well. I've been doing that for pretty much every feature match that I've been uploading. I try to do it one day in advance just to get a little more data, but I took a poll on this one, and out of just about 600 votes, 55% of you guys voted for Cyber Dragon, and 45% of you voted for Sky Striker. So we'll see who is right on this one. I believe last week we had a similar matchup of Striker versus Cyber Dragon. I think it was the same Striker player actually versus a different Cyber Dragon player, because we have quite a few Cyber Dragon players at locals. And I think Striker took that match. So let's see if the same Striker player can be victorious against Cyber Dragon once more. Starting with Desire, setting one, going for Area 0, which does unfortunately miss. You really hate to see it. Setting 2 more back row and handing it over to our Cyber Dragon player. Fanning his banish pile there. If you guys want to pause and see exactly what he banished off the Desires. Hopefully not the one of Engage, because that would just be absolutely tragic, but... Cyber Dragon getting started now with a Galaxy Soldier, pitching Noxter to, of course, search another Galaxy Soldier. This Cyber Dragon player also was a Cyber Dragon player that got first place at our locals as well. And I think the deck profile is on the channel from a few weeks back. Also, if you guys haven't seen the previous round, which was Photon versus Prank Kids, I'll leave an annotation up for it in the top right, or a link down in the description, whichever one I remember to do. So check that match out if you haven't already yet. Leading up to the 4th and final match for this week, which will be getting uploaded tomorrow. So, yeah, we have Cyber Dragon Nova hitting the field, and I believe the content schedule, I think I might have already talked about this in another video, but it's going to be like feature matches, I think pretty much Monday through Thursday, and then dual archives, 1 deck 1 month, and then the first place deck profile. And then if I have other content planned, it'll get kind of squeezed in wherever I can, maybe double uploads, but that's basically what you guys can start expecting on those certain days. Just for those that might be curious, if we're going to have a consistent sort of schedule. But so long as locals stays consistent, I can stay consistent with all of these amazing videos. And I hope you guys have been enjoying them. But it looks like we're going to see a Nibiru, and one of the main reasons why I don't really like Nibiru too much against Cyber Dragons, because they can oftentimes establish a Infinity very, very early on, but... Nibiru paired with Impermanence is just a little bit better, so the board will be wiped. Looks like he did set one. I think I see a Cyber Rev system in hand. I could be wrong. It is a Cyber Rev system. As I've learned recently, a Cyber Rev system does not target which card it brings out, so DD Crow not very good against that specific card, and it also makes it so that particular monster, I believe, can't be destroyed by card effects. Yeah, so that's that Noxter is going to revive the Infinity, and it's going to slurp up the attack position. Nibiru, you hate to see it. Yeah, definitely against this matchup, you got to be mindful of the Infinity, because you can leave some of your monsters in defense, and it can't be slurped up by Infinity. But I mean, with a heavy link-based deck like Striker, that's kind of hard to avoid. But you do have plenty of negation in the deck to avoid it. We're going to see Area 0 try to go again, and it misses 2 times in a row. Hand trap, hand trap, hand trap. I mean, it's a give and take. Striker's one of those decks that has to play a lot of hand traps. So I feel like now, you have way less chance to actually hit off of your Area 0, because I've seen some builds run even 18 hand traps, and I'm just like, that's a little crazy compared with other consistency cards like Metal Foes Fusion, Desires, Foolish Burial Goods. You're bound to just miss pretty frequently off Area 0. But yeah, either way, Striker passing after setting a monster, flipping the Nibiru token into attack, and then activating Cybernetic Overflow to pop a set Terraforming. So yeah, that was a bluff card. Pretty easy tell there. Nibiru token swinging into the set Veiler, and the Infinity getting in for, I believe, 2,300 damage, since it only does have 1 material. Set another back row, and pass turn. Finds Ray here. Probably pretty happy to see that. He's going to normal summon Ray, and probably just link it off. Don't think there's really any reason to use its tag out effect. So he's going to go into Hayate, enter the battle phase, and Hayate will get in successfully for 1,500. There is an Ash in hand, but obviously, when the Hayate happens in damage step, and unfortunately, you cannot, Ash in damage step. But you can basically ash the target they want to get back, which of course is always going to be engage unless they have something like multi-roll or they have a called by to go with it. But so Kagari, of course, snags back the engage. Pretty sure all of us were going to expect that. But he still actually has an infinity negate. Infinity going to be pretty strong here. It's a nice solid Omni negate. Going into Shizuku. And looks like he's activating Eagle Booster. Okay, so he's activating Area Zero, chaining Eagle Booster. Okay, now this scenario makes more sense. So yeah, and he actually does resolve the resolve the Area Zero here for the first time in this match so far, sacrificing an Eagle Booster. But I mean, it's a pretty good copy here. Make sure that Shizuku cannot get ashed, nor can it get negated by Infinity and the end phase. And now we're gonna see the engage go through here. And we're not using Ash on the engage, which is a little confusing to me, to say the least. Because he also gets the bonus draw there, because he does have more than 3 spells in the grave. Now we're going to see Afterburners get activated, and that will be able to pop a monster as well as a set. Tries to negate with Infinity. There is a Widow Anchor, and then we're going to see a Chainlink 3 of, I believe, Cyberload Fusion. I believe that shuffles some cards on field, banished, or engrave back into the deck to fusion summon a Cyber Dragon monster. Or any machine fusion monster. So, Cyberload successfully resolving. Let's see what he goes ahead and brings out. Last week, we saw a Cyber End Dragon hit the field, actually. But here, it is no surprise. Z Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Card's pretty crazy. Just not right now. That's not really a card you want to bring out on your opponent's turn. That's a really good card to bring out on your turn when you're trying to secure a game, because I believe you can send, I think, Cyber Dragons from your deck to the grave to blow up spells and traps, and then it can attack that many times or whatever. Like, it's a crazy card. It can put on a lot of damage. It can do it really, really fast. So now we're going to see a Shark Cannon follow that play up to bring out a Nova. So Nova getting brought out and just passing turn there. Interesting. And it looks like our Cyber Dragon player has Ash and Machine Dupe in hand. Looks like he's going to attempt to activate Rampage Dragon. It is met with a Valor. And Shizuku is also dropping the Rampage Dragon down by quite a bit. Got to check the amount of spells in the grave here to see how much attack exactly it is losing. And it looks like Rampage does not have enough attack to get over it, so deciding not to attack. Instead, just switching that monster to defense and passing turn. Now bringing out a Kagari to start off our Sky Striker player's turn. It's going to add back Engage. And I'm assuming we're going to see Area Zero clear this Nova that is on the field right now. We're going to see a Link instead, probably for Zeke. Yeah, Zeke going to banish the Rampage until I think his next standby phase. And now we're going to see the Engage. And now I was going to say, we better see that Ash now. I mean, that Ash is really going to come in clutch here, because Kagari has already been burned. And I think all our Cyber Dragon player has left, or our Sky Striker player has left in hand, are hand traps. I believe one to be Bell, the other looks like Nibiru. So, I mean, yeah, I guess holding the Ash in this instance proved to be a little bit more effective. You kind of waited, I guess. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but you know, waited till he was a bit lower in card advantage, and then hit him with the Ash, probably when it was going to get more value. And it definitely seems like it got more value because he's linking the Zeke now into Shizuku to go ahead and grab a copy of Area Zero, which not the best card to grab right here since he's already got one in play, but you know, you'll take what you can get at this point, I guess. So passing it over to our Cyber Dragon player, who we know has a Machine Duplication in hand. Rampage Dragon coming back here. We remember this card gets to come back, and it looks like that's all he's doing for turn. Handing it back to our Sky Striker player, who's going to get rid of the Shizuku immediately for a Kagari and try again with the Engage. There really can't be many Sky Striker spells left in the deck at this point. I'm assuming multi-roll was banished off of Desires very early on. Lucky he didn't banish the engage, though, but that's going to hurt the grind game quite a bit. He did grab a Shark Cannon here, which is very crucial in order to secure game. I mean, the only way we're going to see him secure game now is if he can kind of step up into like a Needle Fiber, go for the Selene route, or if he's got, you know, Shark Cannon plus a Widow Anchor, take Rampage and push in for a lot of damage with the opponent's monsters. But yeah, we're going to see Shark Cannon bring back an Ash, and that is going to allow him to summon Needle Fiber. And no Effect Veilers left in deck, unfortunately. That means no Selene into access code play, because he needs a Spellcaster to get into Selene. Normally, Veiler would be your Hulk target in this instance, but probably we already seen him use a Veiler or two at this point, and the rest, I'm assuming, have been banished. So he's just going to summon a Bell from the deck, because conveniently they are all tuners. Looks like he has two Nibiru in hand at this point. So really not much value he can get out of the cards in his hand. So, I mean, at this point, what do you make? A Nightmare Unicorn? Or I know some builds of Sky Striker play Ningirsu, World Legacy, World Chalice guy that can banish itself and another card. I think non-targeting? I could be wrong. I know it's a Link 3, so maybe he'll go into that. Maybe he'll go into Nightmare Unicorn. Maybe he'll just normal summon a Ghost Bell and then link all three of those into access code. That's going to go up to 4,300. Now, this isn't going to be game. This is definitely not going to be game. 4,300 to the face. We'll drop his opponent down to 2,200. See, this is why sometimes I like Borrelsword Dragon better. Because I feel like access code just, like, is a little bit harder to game with. But, I mean, regardless, he's still taking the game there. Cyber Dragon scooping him up. Probably did not draw the card he needed that turn. And I think one of the cards he drew might have been a Red Eyes Black Dragon. I think I did see that in his hand, but I wasn't entirely sure. So I want to take a quick moment to give a shout out to Imperium Duelist, guys. If you haven't checked out their site, they sell all sorts of amazing TCG products. I'll link to the site in the description, as well as a discount code you guys can use to save 10% off your entire order at checkout. Winner kills 10 off. And my TCG Player affiliate link is down there as well, so you guys can shop and check out using that link to support the channel in the process for cards you're already going to be picking up. So all those ways to support the channel down in the description below. So Sky Striker, you know, getting back to it here, setting 3 and passing, it looks like. Not the greatest turn, definitely not. And it looks like Red Eyes Fusion starting things off for Cyber Dragon, which this is basically going to be an FTK, I feel like. I really don't know how Sky Striker outs this Ningirsu. I mean, it does have a wave, but you have to get to Access Code Talker. And if he's got to get through he's got to get to Access Code Talker through the Dragoon, through any possible hand traps he may have, and also through any possible back row he might have. So it's going to be easier said than done. Certainly going to be an uphill battle. Looks like a twin discarding a twin. That was negated by the Dragoon, so that setbacker's got to be something good. Could you imagine if it was Imperial Order? Could you imagine if it was IO? That's an FTK. That's just literally an FTK. Dragoon plus IO against Striker, you might as well just head to game 3. That way you have plenty of time to stall out with the deck. Because, like, kinda doesn't do anything. Widow Anchor doesn't do anything. Like, what do you... Like, Widow Anchor just becomes, like, a scapegoat token. Like, that's all it becomes. But I guess he's going to Shark Cannon for Dark Magician and access the Area 0, which will find a Ray, a multi-roll, and a Rose. We'll take Ray. And, let's see what he does now. I imagine he's going to try to normal Ray and try to get into Hayate, maybe. And Dragoon will actually be able to negate Hayate, because Dragoon does negate activations. So he's going to go ahead and link off the Shizuku, or the Ray, rather, not Shizuku, Ray into Hayate. He'll attack, and let's see if the Hayate gets negated, because, again, this is happening in damage step, but this will be able to be negated by, not Impermanence, because Impermanence doesn't stop activations. Those are the only types of negates that you can use in the damage step, are things that negate activations. I believe Ghost Spell negates activations, so Ghost Spell is a card that could be used, if I'm not mistaken. But Red Eyes Dark Dragoon does. So we'll see if he uses the negate here. It looks like he's not going to, and I don't really think you need to, because the Hayate is just a setup to try to get a card to the grave to hopefully add back later. But maybe there is a point to, you know, stopping the card from getting there in the first place, because if you let him send it there, like this engage that he's sending, if the first Kagari doesn't go through, you know, there's always a second Kagari that's going to be coming later on to try to grab it back. And it's always just there in the grave for them to try to get back to their hand by whatever means. Even if it's something like Magical Stone Excavation, which I doubt we'll see ever in Sky Striker. I just wanted to bring that up because I remember I used to play it in Infernoid to get back like reasoning and stuff, and it was actually like low-key kind of good. So end phase, Shizuku rolls around. We're not seeing a negate here. I guess you really don't need to. What's he gonna grab? Widow Anchor? Like, you don't care about Widow Anchor. It must be refreshing as a Cyber Dragon player right now to realize that he does not have to care at all about Widow Anchor. Literally does not care about it whatsoever. Yeah, I think the only card that can out Dragoon is Vector Blast, but it would require Dragoon to be in the extra monster zone, which it is not. So Vector Blast, even that would be useless at this point. And a Harpy's Feather Duster. Ouch. Cyber Dragon starting things off strong here. Hitting 2, one of them being a shared ride, the other being a copy of Widow Anchor, which again is just basically useless here. And we're going to see Area 0 attempt to activate. And I think our striker player also used Hornet Drones on his turn previously just to put a token out there. Maybe to block damage for the oncoming turn. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. But I mean, it's just more explosion targets, if you will, for Dragoon. You know, instead of 1,500, it's now going to be 3,000 damage. And I guess the token can block damage. So Shizuku will get popped. He'll burn for 15 with that. And then Ray will chain in response to the second Dragoon pop. But of course, Dragoon doesn't target. So he'll get to pop Kagari. And Kagari's not going to get to resolve because it will not be in the place it needs to be in order to resolve. Because it's already in the grave by the time it would try to activate. Think of it as like the whole like Alpha discarding Ben 10 and Drytron. If they DD Crow the Ben 10 does not get to resolve. Very, very similar type effect. So yeah. Dragoon burning for quite a bit of damage here. Battle phase, we're just going to see him run over the token. And that is going to do it for Cyber Dragon. And our striker player starting things off by linking Rose into Kagari. And of course, you don't want to let the Kagari go through. You can't let him get to something like Shark Cannon, because Shark Cannon is going to be his biggest point of like leverage here, to be able to try to just steal things out of the grave and try to make a big link monster to get over it. And this Dragoon is already at 5,000 attack, keep in mind. So he has to make it now with something like Selene or Unicorn, or else he's just not going to be able to get over it. But Area 0 finding a multi-roll. Of course, he changed the Ray to get into Hayate. I mean, he could also like try to keep poking him to death with Hayate, but I don't think this game is going to go on for that many turns. He's going to get multi-roll, which is okay. But I mean, if I'm the Sky Striker player at this particular point, I think other Striker players would probably agree. Probably just to scoop here. But I mean, I get playing it out as well. I totally get that. So he's going to go into the battle phase, swing for 15. And of course, Hayate will trigger, getting to dump a Sky Striker card to the grave. He's going to send Eagle Boosters here. And then he's going to link off the Hayate. Can't go into Kagari again. He's going to go into Shizuku. And set a card, end phase, Shizuku. And that will successfully resolve here. No Ash. And he's going to add Afterburners. I think Jamming Waves would actually... No, Jamming Waves wouldn't work because Jamming Waves still destroys. The other part of it doesn't target, but also can't be destroyed. So we're going to see Dragoon, I think, attempt to blow up the Kagari. And yeah, that's just going to signal game, because even if he's going to take 3,000 bird damage there regardless, no matter what he does, and then he can still attack in for 5,000. So yeah, we're going to do a game 3. As you might have expected after that one, just because like Dragoon might as well just be an FTK. Yeah, so we're gonna see Cyber Dragon get started with Emergency for core, ashing the core, and oof, Machine Duplication. That is a card, really good card. That's just a card. That's what we would call a little bit of a punish right there. Yeah, going into now a rank 5 for Nova. But I mean, of course, like, if you're not familiar with the Cyber Dragon matchup, you might not be thinking about Machine Duplication being a really good alternative follow-up for something like Core, which I feel like in some cases is kind of Ash bait. You know, it's the normal summon, it's a search, right? How bad could it be to Ash? And then they just follow it up with something like Machine Dupe. And then you're like, wow, that was pretty good. We're also seeing a Bell used on Nova's effect, but he's just going to go right into an Infinity after that and make an Almirage. So he can protect the Infinity here if he needs to. And of course, he does have the Omni Negate plus any hand traps he may have as well. So Sky Striker getting started with a copy of Rhoda, getting access to the one and only Ray. And we're going to see him add the Ray. Looks like he's got Widow and I think Shark Cannon in hand. We're going to see him normal the Ray. And go into battle phase, attack into the Almirage. Almirage will chain to protect, which is an often forgotten about effect from Almirage, but that's going to be really clutch here. It's going to make it so the Cyber Dragon Infinity cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. And also, Almirage actually has another effect. I think it says if a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can just revive it from the grave if it's in the grave. So, yeah, Almirage, kind of a cool card here. Very, very multi-purpose card for Cyber Dragon. He's going to go for the Kagari. He will negate with Widow Anchor. He's going to get access to that engage. Unfortunately, Almirage does not prevent targeting. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine how if it prevented from being targeted and destroyed by card effects? Oh my god, that'd be crazy. So we're going to see Shark Cannon to banish Core, and then he's going to follow up with the engage. Probably wanted to order it like that so he could get an additional draw off of this engage here. That little free plus, if you will. Was looking at Hornet Drones, but deciding to switch it up to go for another copy of Widow. And, ooh, we're going to see an Afterburners, but I think he may have forgotten about the Almirage. But it happens. It happens. Going to commit to the card. Going to commit to the card. You got to love to see it. And, yeah, a little bit of a misstep there. So, yeah, he's going to go ahead and link into Shizuku with a Kagari, setting 1 and passing, and then, of course, getting the end phase search of Shizuku here. See what he goes ahead and grabs. Looking at multi-roll, checking the opponent's grave, seeing if Widow Anchor or Shark Cannon is something really necessary at this point. Infinity only has one more negate on it, but that might just be enough. We're going to see our Sky Striker player activate Hornet Drones here in main phase 2, or an end phase, and then pass it over to our Cyber Dragon player. Who is going to start with a normal summon here. Looks like up. We're going to see a Kaiju, Jizukiru, which is a machine, normal summoning hers, and we're going to see a triple contact fusion. And, of course, that's not going to trigger Ray because it's being sent by a game mechanic. And he's going to try to Widow Anchor the Fortress, but the Infinity is going to negate. And yeah, I mean, he's going to pass turn there, but I think our Striker player is going to admit defeat. So yeah, that is going to conclude this match. Cyber Dragon taking it 2-1. If you guys want to check out more of my videos, check the 2 popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the YouTube members supporting this channel. A special thanks goes to our Divine level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84 and Pony Star. Thank you guys so much as always for your continued and extremely generous support of this channel.